Hey Sean, it seems like everyone else in the line has dealt with some kind of injury and there's all this movement going on. What do you tell those guys, and what's just kind of your take on the situation around you?
Well, first off, I just want to say to everybody on the line that had to rotate or start, they're tough kids. They really are. To be out there in some of those situations, I can just have to tip my hat to them. Especially Nick. Nick tried to give it a go. Like, with all the time, I told him, you can only do what you can do. Nick really tried. It's tough because some of the guys haven't had a whole bunch of experience, so whenever they get in there, you just have to keep them calm. And they did a good job in their game plan with giving us some certain things they haven't really showed in the past, especially early on in the run game. They were kind of like they're messing with our man read scheme, kind of. So we're getting in line, we're getting picked. Like, and you have to be able to learn how to to adapt to that on the run after a couple of plays. So that's probably the biggest thing.
Can you explain some of those things that they were doing in the man scheme to someone who might not be fully familiar with football?
Yeah, like the one run play we was kind of we run a lot. It was like a 3 technique, so he's outside shade the guard and there's a tight 5, and then both guys would man on, with tackle and guard, man on each of those guys, and then they would play like a late game. So eventually the 3 technique would hit the tackle, so the tackle gets picked, and the guy loops inside, so you have to adjust to that. And we made that adjustment in the second quarter. But we didn't really run that play much after that because we were starting having success throwing the ball.
Sean, back here, can you just talk about the game and how tough it is not to win this one? When you kind of think about the teams you have left to play and where you guys want to be at the end of the year?
Every game is tough, especially this one because of the circumstances. All the seniors in there are fighting just to win every game and to not get the results from working extremely hard through the off season and through camp and just fighting through the entire season just to keep coming up short. It's really frustrating.
Hey Sean, how much of this, the struggling with the running game today especially, is due to injuries and how much of it is just execution at this point?
Well, there's some plays where just some guys were just unable to get the job done, and but if you're in the game, you're expected to execute. So it's both. It's not an excuse really to blame the injuries, because if you're in the game, you're supposed to execute, and if you can't execute, then you have to get the next guy in there, which we did a couple of times. It's kind of a mixture of both. You don't want to use the excuse, you have to execute, and we try to get the best combination there in the game eventually to try to execute those plays.
Looking forward now, 3 must-win games left. You're a senior, you came back for one more year. What's your mindset right now?
Well, before this game, it was wanting to attack each game, and it's still the same because now we had very little wiggle room. Now we have none. We really have to turn it on. We really have to attack this week especially, and then eventually we really have to attack it because we have to bye the next week, so we really have to put every effort into this next upcoming game to save our season.